everybody's tightening their belt, everybody's scrubbing their budgets. Their discussion about what is actually really important in the community are what's local and what's latent and non-monetized gifts. So the whole idea is what we need in this world, we already have, but we haven't done a good enough job of discovering. So the work of the neighborhood organizer is to really, with a very gifts-centered approach, look for the things that are great in our community rather than the deficiencies. Okay, so it's a possibilities conversation, not a problem-solving one. And that's not to be Pollyannish, that's not to say that there aren't deficiencies within us and the neighborhoods. It just means it's not useful to put your energy and your focus into that. It's much more useful and energetic to put your energy into looking for the gifts inherent in the community so that we can be the change that we want to become. Okay, so that's the basic premise. And we're going to be going through certain ways of engaging. It's based off of certain methodologies. And again, I'm not going to discuss it much in detail. We want people to experience it first. But if you're nerdy like me and want to talk about it and launch into a geek country, I'm happy to talk about it after this event. And there's other people who are familiar with this work also. But that's a basic premise. So we're going to be doing some activities that do a lot of small group interactions. And then we're going to be doing some group work, and then we're going to be coming back to make some meeting of it. Okay? But first of all, what we always do is we always honor the connections and build the connections before we get to the content. All of you made a choice to be here. I'm sure all of you had to sacrifice something to be in this room. So I want everybody here, whenever you feel called to do so, you don't have to say anything, but what's the one word that would best describe why it's important for you to be here today?
Creativity.
Inspiration.
What was that?
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
Developing.
Exploration.
Mystery.
Opportunity.
So the first one is find someone in the room that you know the least. By doing so, we maximize the potential change. We do the maximum mixing of diversity and differences. Gifts different, okay? So it sounds a little weird, but find the person you know the least. 2, don't wait to be chosen. This is all about taking your own responsibility for the learning and the exploration you're about to get into. 3, sit in trios, sit within 9 inches of each other. Make sure that you're looking at each other. Again, I've got handouts, so it'd be better if people weren't jotting down notes if you're inclined to do that, but to really kind of fully engage. And I'll be giving when people get into the small groups, I'll be giving people the question that we want everybody to explore. I want everybody to be able to say in about 5 minutes to answer the question with the group. And Dan and I will be floating around to make sure that we would keep this train running on time and everybody gets a chance to talk. But when we share and discuss this question when we enter into, we want people to listen with curiosity, with exploration, and with inquiry. If you ask a question, please ask it for clarifying terms, but also for deeper exploration. By the listener really deeply listening, we're making the storyteller the expert. Okay? And one of the last pieces of advice that I struggle with all the time is don't be helpful. Don't give advice. You may think you've got an interesting answer to whatever the person's sharing, but this is all about the listener giving the power to the storyteller. Okay? Does that make sense? So we've got this entire great room. We're going to spend